I don't want to apologize because I am doing the absolute best I can, but if it's not good enough, I am sorry, like deeply sorry.
Have special blankets so they don't end up in bags like this.
We mourn for every life the virus has claimed, and we share the grief of all of you who have lost a loved one.
One of the hardest moments was having to see a family member of a COVID patient say goodbye over an iPad rooms away.
They are warriors, aren't they, when you see them going into those hospitals and they're putting the stuff that you deliver, but they're wrapping themselves and the doors are opening and they're going through the doors and they're not even ready to go through those doors. They probably shouldn't, but they can't get there fast enough, and they're running into death just like soldiers run into bullets, in a true sense. I see that with the doctors and the nurses and so many of the people that go into those hospitals. It's incredible to see. It's a beautiful thing to see, but I really call them warriors. We're all warriors. Everyone in our country is a warrior.
The other thing was we had to change our visitor policy this week. So previously it was no visitors were allowed because we were worried that we were potentially going to spread the disease to them. And we decided to change it for patients where they're very near the end of life, because we wanted to give family members the opportunity to be with their patients. And so we're making some changes and trying to accommodate that, so that people don't have to die alone. I think that that's one of the most tragic pieces of this disease.
You know, we're seeing so much chaos manifest outside of our home that we can't imagine how bad it is inside. You know, we stopped counting how many bodies came out.
We're going to have a rough week. We're going to have maybe a little more than a week. But there's tremendous light at the end of that.
And it's just hard. You wake up in the morning and like yesterday, and you kind of worry about what news you're going to get. And first thing was a message from a friend who was asking that I assist her with her father's obituary. He had passed on Sunday. And then within a few hours, I get another text message as I'm driving, and that text informs me that my aunt had passed away. And you know, it's just it just all becomes very surreal.
You want to keep it the way it is. You don't want to see panic, because there's no reason to be panicked about. But when I mentioned the flu, I said, actually, I asked the various doctors, I said, is this just like flu? Because people die from the flu, and this is very unusual. And it is a little bit different, but in some ways it's easier, and in some ways it's a little bit tougher. But we have it so well under control. I mean, we really have done a very good job. Go ahead.
It's not so much a question of if this will happen anymore, but rather more a question of exactly when this will happen and how many people in this country will have severe illness.
I want as few a number of people to die as possible, and that's all we're working on.
I remember one morning getting up because they were going to make my bed, and they called the code blue, and my aide ran across the hall and came back and said, he died. Just very nonchalant. And I couldn't get over the callous way that it was put.
He was my hero. There's no question about that. Definitely a genuinely good person. Always wanted to help people. He was a DC firefighter. I don't know if you knew that or not. Yeah. So I think about it every night. I think about, me telling him, I'm gonna get him out of there. I'm gonna get him out of there. Not being able to do it in time.
I don't know if any of us will ever be the same after this. And that's something we're gonna have to manage. There's gonna be a lot of trauma from this for the medics and EMTs who have seen this all, unfold, firsthand.
The message I would give the world would be to check in on your friends and family, make sure they're okay, take this seriously, and to tell everyone that you love them, because you never know, you won't be able to tell them again.
And she's like, I promise I'll come home, and I love you, and that was the last time I ever talked to her. And it just sucks, because, I actually had hope she was coming home, and that I would get to talk to her and tell her everything, and I continued texting her till her death, and even a few days after her passing, I kept texting her, wanting to believe that it wasn't true that she had passed away. At 7 p.m. in New York City every day, they do a clapping and a cheering for the healthcare workers, but then I can't help but think, but what about the ones who are fallen? What about the ones who are already dead?
And hopefully we're going to come in below that 100,000 lives lost, which is a horrible number. Nevertheless, it's a horrible thing. Could have been stopped. It should have been stopped at the source, but it wasn't.
Yeah, we're all going through a tough time, and it is a tough time. But a lot of people have shown a lot of courage and a lot of beauty, and they've had very tough lives, and let's appreciate them at the same time. Any questions for myself? Everybody stay there.